Welcome to my channel. My name is Regina.
I wanted to hop into a video.
I was sitting in my Bible study yesterday. As I have told you on my previous vlog, we are studying this. We're going through the book of Acts. In this book, the study is called The Gospel on the Ground. As we were going through the book of Acts, I just felt compelled to kind of talk about this funny but real story. So the other day, as a family, we're sitting down watching this movie called Lewis and the Aliens. And I for sure identified with that story because of how neglected Lewis was. His dad was so sleepy. And so he was always sleeping in the video. And then or in the movie, and he was focused on finding aliens. And so, outside of his dad focusing so much on sleep and finding aliens, it just made me see Lewis in the story as one who was the only child. My mom worked a lot, my dad was not in the picture at all. One of the cool things that was highlighted in particular in my story is that there were people that were surrounded by me that really put an effort into my life. From a little girl, I remember this woman, her name was Miss Beverly at my daycare. She would just take really good care of me. She would make me extra meals because I didn't like what they would give us. She didn't want me to not eat, and so she would make me meals. It meant a lot to me because it made me feel seen in a season to where I just didn't feel seen. Her being nurturing to me, her giving me extra love and extra attention, which is what all children want. Like, all children want attention. She paid attention. Lewis's story, he had a teacher that paid attention. His teacher offered him a ride home because he had like a messed up bike, and the wheel in his tire made him have a bumpy ride home. And so with his bumpy ride home, he still went. He was like, "Don't worry about it. I got it. My dad is fine." The interesting thing though too is that the teacher paid attention. The teacher wanted him to have attention. The teacher wanted him to have help. And so the teacher brought in someone who they thought would help him. And at the end of the day, it ended up being a alien that was trying to wreak havoc on his life and take him to a place that he was never supposed to be. And I just thought that part was fascinating because I can look back over my life and think and see the same thing, which is how there are people that really want to rob us, they want to steal us, they want to hurt us. And, you know, and then there's people that really want to help us. But all of this to say is that at the end of the day, God is in a lot. God is in a lot, as well as the enemy is in a lot. And so with God being present, the days of the week, Sunday, the days of the week, Monday. One thing my daughter is gonna do is not let me get this booger out of her nose while she sleeps. Y'all, people used to call me Sassy 2.0 right here. I just got out of the coffee shop because she needed a nap and my husband is still inside working. But I was like, that movie really kind of put things into perspective because Lewis had people that were really there for him in his hard seasons of his dad not being for him. And then it was like he befriended aliens. And it's just like, man, like, you can look at it several ways, right? Like, you can look at it as like, man, he really just didn't have friends. You can look at it as like, those aliens were the only ones that were there for him, or the only friends that he had. And then I think of, like, sometimes too, I just think of my past, because what I noticed in my life was that the relationships that I had mirrored the familial relationships that I had. It just wasn't really the best, but I learned a lot. I was just telling Sam too, today I said in my when in one of the hardest seasons of our marriage, I was struggling so much. Like, I honestly was struggling with so much insecurity and so much pain that I could not see outside of all of that, and I couldn't see reality. I was highly triggered, and I just could not get out of it mentally, if that makes sense. And with that being said, I allowed relationships that were not really focused on the betterment for myself. Like, the people that because I was unhealthy, I allowed people that were not the best for me in my life. And I look at how they reach out to me now, and it's I feel like more out of gossip and, what's going on with you, not how are you, not like, how are you actually doing? Like, there's no actual care for me. And I told Sam, I said, I take full responsibility for that. And, it's easy to want to point the finger at people because they've treated you in a certain way. But then it makes me reflect more and say, how did I show up? How did I present myself in that season? Who was I? Was I a friend to them? Was I this or that to them? I've now grown and seen what I want out of friendships. And so, am I going to be that friend to people that I really want them to be to me now? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I used to look at people and be like, man, they didn't do this, they did all of this and all this stuff. And then I had to self-reflect and say, well, what am I bringing to the table? And I no longer want to look at, all of these things that are up against me. And I want to take full responsibility and go for the things that will truly change my life, will bring out fruit. And it was interesting because I was just like, these former friends are reaching out to me, and I just don't see I don't see the fruit of it. I don't see the depth of it. Like, I don't see that, they care for me like that. But then I have to say, Regina, did you care for them like that? Were you there for them? What did you do for them? And I don't know. It's just like, I don't want people in my life that they just want to see what's going on. They want to know what's going on. They just want to be in my business versus actually just being a present person. Like, let's go get coffee together. Let's go shopping together. Let's do things together, or let's create businesses together. Let's give each other business ideas and not look for something in return that has no substance, that has no fruit. And so I'm like, how am I able to show up in this season of my life better for people? How do I serve people better? And that's just kind of like one of those things. I don't want to be a taker. I just want to give. I want to serve people, and I don't want nothing back in return. I want to just learn the art of serving people, the art of not looking for anything, the art of honoring people, and just shifting, the narrative that, I just want to be better for people, for myself. And I'm first learning to serve my family well. And it's been a great teacher. God's been my teacher in that. And it's easy to overlook everything that he's teaching me I feel like it's easy to dig back into my old ways and old habits, but I'm just telling myself we're not doing that. Like I don't want to do that anymore. I want to I want these kids to look back on their childhood and see how hard their mom and dad went and created change and made sacrifices for them and loved them wholeheartedly without expecting anything in return, without feeling um, like they owe me something because I birthed them, because I raised them. I want them to say, "Thank you, mom and dad, for everything you've done. Thank you for the rooms that you didn't allow us to go into. Thank you for the places you did allow us to go to, the people that you did let watch us for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Got like mom and dad, you made sacrifices for me. You stood up for me in the schools. You homeschooled me. You created these businesses and you took care of me. Like I don't want to leave my kids with the art of gossiping and the art of saying things that has no substance nor any fruit. I want my presence in this life to leave impact for God's glory. I want God to say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." I want God to say, like, "Thank you, Regina, for serving me these years that you served me on earth." And, like, "Thank you for following my word." I want to hear those things from God because at the end of the day, He is the one that's going to be looking at me and He's going to be, um, looking at what I did and asking me questions and things like that. And I just want to say, God, like, I'm, this is why, I mean, I don't have an excuse. I mean, except I'm a sinner. I mess up, I make mistakes, but I got back up in the game and I tried my best. So it's like you can look back and reflect on a lot of things, but you got to keep your past where it's at. And you got to show up in the ways in which you need to show up. Like, and you cannot let life kick you down and keep you down. And that's one of the, I had to learn that recently, these past few years. Because one thing that, like, I've learned more and I've observed more and I've listened more. Like, I listen to God and I try my best to listen to people and I try to take notes and do better. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it encourages you. I didn't sit down and write all of these notes. I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to kind of share that experience because whenever I was watching that movie, I was like, wait, there's some real parts to this story that fits into my story, and I think of how the aliens were some of my former friends from growing up and stuff like that, how they were there for me in those seasons, how we had fun in those seasons, how they're, because my dad showed, or for Lewis in the story, his dad showed up. Maybe he's spending less time with those friends and he's spending more time with his dad. He's learning more from his dad, but also we can't forget the dad. The dad made a change. Lewis spoke up for himself. He told his dad, how he felt, and his dad didn't know that that was how he felt. And his dad was given the opportunity to make a change, and he did. And just like me and my story, I've spoken up to my people. I've said what I said to them, and they've decided their decision, and I've decided my decision, and we all keep moving. And it's like God is a redeemer of all stories. All stories God redeems. No matter if it's 10 years, 20, 30, he will redeem a story. And my prayer always is that God redeems the relationships from my own family. You know, like I'm just my extended family, because my family in my head and the way that I've learned it and the way that I read the Bible, and it could be a different thing for you, is that my family now is the family that I have with Sam. But my extended family, which is to me what they're called, and how I read the order, I want to stay in order, you know? But anyway, just praying for the redemption of relationship, just love. Hey, how you doing? Things are great. I want to hang out with you. I want you to see the kids. You know, I pray for that. And God will do it in his own time and in his own way. And even if not, earthside, things get resolved in my life and with my extended family, it is well with my soul, because I can't control people. They can't control me. So I don't know, speaking out of just a girl that's learning. That's it, a girl that's learning. Like this video, share it with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one.